do I have the skills to run this as a business instead of as a job? Because they're not the same thing. When you're referring to like whether or not to work with a coach or whether or not who to hire, I don't look at those as necessarily business opportunities as much as just strategic moves within the opportunity, right? Your opportunity was the business that you're pursuing, right? And then you had strategic decisions of how to move within that. So for me, like the opportunity of what type of business or what type of thing to pursue, it comes down to a couple of factors. Like one, is it already in your wheelhouse, right? So if somebody is trying to make the move from employee to self-employed or from self-employed to business owner, right? If they're trying to make that shift, you have to say like, do I have the skills to run this as a business instead of as a job? Because they're not the same thing. You could be a phenomenal graphic designer. Doesn't mean you should own a graphic design company unless you have the stomach to be like, really you have to then start leaving the graphic design, right? And saying, okay, I'm going to hire people to do that if you're truly going to be a business owner. So kind of like step one is, do you have the chops to do the job or the business you're trying to pursue? And if you don't, then okay, like, are you going to hire that or are you going to partner that, right? Do you have the resource to either go hire those expertise or go, or just bring partners in? And I don't think you should ever bring a partner in that is someone that you could have just paid and hired, right? The partner should be someone that fills a higher level need than just a task. It should be like, I need this to have a balance in a higher level resources. So kind of chipping away at that and coming back to the last thing, I think step one in that framework of like, how do I choose which opportunity is just realize two things. There's not just one opportunity, and it's okay to pursue an opportunity and then abandon it. So like, I'm a big believer of like, start. Just don't waste time in getting the first like brick laid down the road, right? Just get it started, but then be super honest with yourself and maybe set up like several gates. Like, okay, I'm going to pursue this up until I get my first sale. And then I'm going to reevaluate if I'm enjoying it. Because you may not, you may realize like, oh, this was a grass is greener situation. I don't actually enjoy this business. And then another one would be like, okay, so typically what we do in e-commerce is we say, the first gate is the first sale. That's not your mom or your sister or your friend, right? Like the first stranger that buys from you, then getting to $1,000 a day in sales. And then, then getting to like 100 grand, like 6 figures plus a month. Beyond that, it comes down to just how aggressive you're going to be. So each of those gates, like it's also okay to look back on the business and say, does this suck? Like, do I like this? So, and that can either be a shift of the business or a shift of how you're running it. And so to me, like just keeping the mindset is like, there's not just one opportunity. There's not just one business, one e-com store, one podcast topic, whatever. There's countless.